Today I'm going to be talking about how I found mold in my home and what I did about it. So it's probably going to be a pretty quick video, but let's just dive right into it. For a year now, I have been dealing with health issues. I've been to a bunch of different doctors. Nobody's been able to help me. Nobody has been able to help me figure out what is going on. So I just as I started ruling things out, I ended up becoming skeptical or concerned that mold might potentially be a contributing factor to what I am going through, what I'm dealing with. And then that made us think, hey, we did have some water damage in the rental home like a year ago, and then we also have visible mold in our washer, which I think that was the cause, is the mold that was in our washer. It was very visible. I mean, when we first moved in, it was just a little bit of it, but I didn't really know what it was. Maybe I was a bit naive, but I didn't know what it was. I did try to clean it. It didn't come out, and just as time went on, it got worse, and the mold came very, very obvious, which I'll put a picture here of what it looked like in the washer. Yeah, it was extremely bad, and I think that was the issue and caused me to breathe in mycotoxins and get them in my body. So if you have a front loader washing machine, be very cautious and very diligent about cleaning it properly to avoid mold growth, because front loaders are very susceptible to growing mold because of just the way that they're made and the porous kind of material that it has. Yeah, so if you have a front loader, be aware of that, be cautious of that, make sure to clean it well so that it doesn't get any mold in the first place. So that literally means like drying it out under the seal and everything every single time that you use it. Otherwise, it's very, very susceptible to getting mold buildup. What else we wanted to do, of course, was to make sure that the water damage was not an issue. We did have a mold inspector come. He said there was no issue, but then when I saw my functional practitioner, who I'm seeing, that is helping me detox from mold, she told me that I need to get a specific type of mold inspector, and that is a mold inspector that has the IIC certification. She said if they don't have that certification, they likely really don't know what they're doing. So we actually did just recently have somebody come in and actually take a sample inside the wall just to make sure that there is no mold behind the wall. And we actually just got the results that there is no elevated mold levels, so that's a good thing. But it also made me feel a little discouraged because I felt like it almost would be validating if that happened. But at the same time, I still have done tests that have proved that I have mold toxicity and proved that I do have mold in me. I really do think that it was from the washer because we had been using that for like a year and the mold had gotten worse. So yeah, I think that's where the mold came from. But something to know about mold toxicity is that it could come from past exposure. It's not always from the home that you're living in now. It could be from a workplace. Mold toxicity can be sometimes hard to track down what caused it or where it came from, because it can be from past exposure, but I truly do think it was from the washer because that mold was very visible and we definitely were being exposed to it for a long time. So that's what we think it was, but also something that you can do if you suspect that you might have mold. This is just a starting point that can kind of be a little helpful tool along your journey to figure out if mold is a potential concern, and that is doing an IIC test. So basically that is a little sample test where you take like a little swiffer duster and you basically dust the areas that you are concerned about. Obviously you don't dust on visible mold, but just kind of the areas that you are concerned about, you dust it, and then you send the sample to a lab, and then they interpret the results. And if the results come back as there being significant elevated levels of mold, especially particularly the dangerous ones, then that could be something that you know, okay, hey, I need to dive deeper into this and figure out what we can do about it. So we did do that test when the old washer was still in our house. We have now since replaced it, but we did not obviously swatch on the actual mold, but we did swatch on top of the dryer. So therefore, you know, the mold in the washer was still, you know, producing mycotoxins and the spores were getting all over the place. The ERMI did come back as there being high levels of penicillium, and just some other ones that were really high levels, way above the normal range. So I do believe that that was where I got the mold toxicity. But that is just a starting point. I believe it was like $290 something to get that done. You can order it on their official website if you wanted to do that. But that's kind of just a starting point. The ERMI is not always the best for giving answers, just because, you know, if you're swatching all around your house, that kind of makes it a little more difficult to pinpoint where the potentially the hazardous molds are coming from. But if you focus it on a certain area of your house, like we just focused it on the hallway, then that's a little bit more helpful, and in the little laundry room area, which is all near that hallway upstairs. So it gave us an idea, but we still didn't know if it was the water damage area or if it was from the washer. Now that we have had an inspector come in, an IICRC inspector come in, now we have confirmed that there is no mold behind the wall. So that brings me to the next step. What you can do is you can actually get a mold inspector to come in, and specifically you want to get an IICRC certified inspector. If you have visible mold, then obviously that's an easy answer, that you know that you're dealing with mold, but it's still good to kind of look further and see if it's like producing mycotoxins or things like that, because certain species of mold produce mycotoxins. Not all mold is going to cause reactions and things like that, but the ones that produce mycotoxins are those that can be really concerning for your health. And also something to note is that mold toxicity, you're not going to be getting necessarily the same symptoms for every person. Everybody is going to kind of get different symptoms. So you can be living in a house with other people and you could be the only person having symptoms. So that is something to note. Just because you're having symptoms and say your significant other is not having symptoms, it does not mean that mold is not the problem. After we did the ERMI and started being skeptical that mold might be what is causing my health issues, I then started looking into finding a good functional practitioner to help me get to the root cause of it. So I ended up doing 2 different tests. So the first one that I did is called a Mycotoxin Test, and this helped to figure out if there was any mycotoxins in my body, and the test did show me that I have high levels of ochratoxin A, which can cause all sorts of health systems. It can basically affect any system in your body. It can have so many effects and you can get so many different symptoms. So yeah, that was concerning, being exposed to mycotoxins when you're breathing it in and you're just constantly in that area. And I work from home, so I'm inside and I'm literally like always in that area where the washer is. So I was being exposed to that mold all the time, breathing it in pretty much 24 hours a day, just a lot. And our bedroom is right next to there too, so I was just breathing it in all the time. And I also did an OAT test, which stands for an organic acid test, and that can kind of give you some more information about what is going on and if mold is a potential issue. So it can kind of really tell you if you have a fungal overgrowth in your gut that can come from a result of being exposed to mold. So yeah, those test results also came back that I have elements or just things that point to being exposed to mold. So yeah, those are the things that I did after I found out that I have mold in my home. That is everything that I did. And if you are wanting to kind of see my journey and learn about what I am doing now to get the mold out of my body, definitely make sure to check out my mold toxicity healing journey playlist, because I am sharing my journey with healing from mold toxicity. I am seeing a functional practitioner who gave me a 4-month protocol to help detox my body from mold, but also support my body at the same time. If you are interested in following along that journey, definitely make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you get notified when I post new videos. I'm going to be sharing all of the supplements that I'm taking and the lifestyle changes that I'm making and all the things that I am doing to help my body heal from mold toxicity and get it out of my body. It has been a very long journey. I hope that this is going to really helped me, because yeah, it has not been fun. This has been like the worst thing that I've ever been through. It sucks. It takes a really big mental toll. It's not great for your mental health. It causes a lot of stress and I am just so uncomfortable all the time. I feel terrible. It sucks. that is it for today's video. I hope it was helpful. If you enjoyed it, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up. If you do have any questions, definitely let me know in the comment section below. And if you are going through mold toxicity, or if you have gone through mold toxicity before, I'd love for you to share your experience and what it was like for you. And if you have any advice or things that helped you in your healing journey, definitely let me know in the comment section below. If you are new here and you're not already subscribed and you want to see even more content from me in the future, I would absolutely love it if you would go ahead and subscribe to my channel. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope you tune in for my next video.